Welcome back to Happily Booked, the book cast where two kindred spirits believe that the pursuit of happiness is the same thing as reading a good book and being able to talk about it. We're your hostesses, as always, Brookie, and...
back.
And we're happy to be here. This is our book club episode. Number 11 is our book club episode for Goblin. So before we get into any of that, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
That's great. Were you able to finish Ella's room?
No.
That's okay.
We did go to Home Depot yesterday to get wood glue because I have to do some fixing on the dresser before we paint it. And my brother took down the old loft because my sister's putting on a new loft, like a bigger one with a different, so it used to be a tree, so it looked like she would climb a tree and be able to sit up there and whatever.
Cute.
Now it's gonna be a spaceship.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, she's gonna have a space room.
Hashtag tomboy life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't know what I was about to say. So I bet you're wondering, Brooke, what happened to your face?
I did see that and was wondering, yes.
I know it's not really that noticeable, but it is like, you do see it.
Yeah.
It's not a big anything. So there I was, snoozing, dreaming this morning, and I woke up because Pumpkin, my cat, came and laid right next to my face, and she was just all curled up and all cuddly. And it was fine. Everything was fine. And I was just laying there dozing off, and she was laying there dozing off. And Ranger, our German Shepherd, he knows when it's time to get up, because he knows what the alarm means. If the alarm goes off, he's like, okay, we're about to get up and go downstairs. I'm about to go outside. I'm about to eat, whatever. So he gets impatient after the alarm's gone off. And I'm sure I meant to get up at 7 and I got up at almost 8 because my alarm went off at 7. And I'm sure he was patiently waiting for me to finally get up. And when I never did, he was like, well, I'm tired of this. I'm awake and ready. I heard the alarm. He put his big fat head on top of Pumpkin, the cat, who was next to my face, and like was sniffing me. And I was like, oh, hey, Ranger, okay, fine, I'm about to get up. And I was like pushing him away because he gets so excited and he's really strong. And while I was pushing him away, he kept his face on Pumpkin and was pulling her off of the bed.
Oh.
On accident. And so Pumpkin being like, oh my God, I'm about to fall off of the bed. Let me cling on to anything that's near me.
Oh my goodness.
It was my face. She clung onto my face.
Oh my goodness.
And I got so mad. Luckily, she didn't actually hit my eye. I was concerned she almost hit my eye. She got my hand in the process.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my war wound. I was just sleeping.
Yeah, I did notice that first thing when we were outside and you brought the dogs out.
It hurt. Everything's fine though. But yeah, that's where I got
my medicine on it.
I did. I put Neosporin on it.
I thought so because it looked kind of shiny. I was like, is that a black? I was thinking it was a black eye because it was so shiny.
Yeah. No, I just medicated it. I don't want it to get infected by her nasty little claws.
Imagine having a black eye and coming to work tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. And my birthday is Thursday.
Oh no.
So I'm glad I don't have a black eye.
Yeah.
Well, that would be something, huh? Happy birthday, Brooke. You have a black eye. So you can have your Dawn Camp card back. I took some pictures of it this morning.
Awesome.
To coincide with our episode 10 that is out now. I've got to make a post of that.
She messaged us on Instagram. Did you see that?
Well, I know I messaged her.
Yeah.
And then she did message back.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know what to say now. So I just liked the message. But I did let her know. I said, thanks for giving us your card. I just wanted to let you know we mentioned you in episode 10. And she was like, oh, thank you so much for letting me know. And I was like, oh. Am I blushing?
So cool.
Am I fangirling right now? I didn't know what to say back, so I just liked the message. I was like, yeah, play it cool. Yeah, she seemed really nice. I never talked to her in person, but you did, and you said she was really nice.
Yeah.
So some big news.
Okay.
Big news coming your way, people. Big news, big news. So we might be getting a simple supply of merchandise. That's right. You heard it first here.
I can't wait.
I know. So we're getting our sample shirts soon, and all that we know at the moment is that we might be getting shirts. They'll just be like simple colors with our logo on it, but still, that's really cool. I hope they are comfy. I hope people like them. I hope people want them, and I hope we can figure out some other designs because I think that'd be really fun.
Yes.
My friend, she's like, I need a car magnet.
Your friend or your best friend?
Oh, my bad. My best friend. Woo! Oh man, could have been my life. You saved me. Yeah, she's like, I need a car magnet. And I'm like, one day you will have a car magnet. Promise you
Next
that.
on the list.
Yeah.
I keep saying coffee cups.
Oh yeah, I want stickers. I want a little sticker, a little round sticker to go on, like you can just put on your books. You know how they have like Reese's Book Club, Oprah
Oh,
picks?
yeah.
I want one to have a little paw print and be like orange or something and maybe have like a pumpkin in it or whatever.
Picks.
And it can say Pumpkin's Picks.
That'd be so cute.
Oh, it's the best idea I've ever had in my life. And I really want it to happen.
That's funny.
Yeah, so one day we're gonna have merchandise, and I mean one day soon, at least for shirts. So that's exciting. Be on the lookout, Bolo. So I have a question. I want people's opinion, and I know we talked about this after we recorded last week. Does a zombie apocalypse book count as a pandemic book, a viral pandemic? Because a pandemic is defined as something that started because of a virus. And if you think of The Walking Dead, sorry, this is all I've been thinking about all week. If you think of The Walking Dead, it started with a virus. So is The Walking Dead a pandemic television series? And is a zombie apocalypse book from the writers of The Walking Dead a pandemic book? What are your thoughts?
It's a good question. It's a good question. And I would like to put this to our listeners too, because we have quite a few listeners. And the last time we asked for, some emails, we got one.
Ooh,
so
y'all are in trouble.
So if more than one person could respond to Brooke question, please.
Thank you, Mama Beck. Yes, we have one email from our biggest fan, apparently, which is, she should be our biggest fan, and I'm glad she is. But it's my mom, Tracy. That's right. Saying your name because you deserve it. We'll hear her voice hopefully soon once we get talking about Goblin.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. It was easier than I realized till at the very last minute. See if I could put the audio on the podcast. Seems like I can, so that's exciting. Yeah, we didn't have time last week, but I wanted to mention some books I was thinking about starting.
Yeah.
And I hadn't started them yet or anything, but I was like, oh, well, if it's in my head now, if it's a pandemic book, I'm going to love it. So I want it to be a pandemic. But it's going to fall under its own genre as being a zombie book, So, I don't know. That's what I was thinking about. So, just because we're huge fans of Harry Potter, and I'm sure everybody knows about this horrible news.
So sad.
I mean, life is fleeting. But Robbie Coltrane, the actor who is Hagrid from Harry Potter, passed away last Thursday. Was it last Thursday? It was last Thursday.
I think so.
October 14th, 2022. And it was really sad. It's like the series just getting older and older and older.
Yeah.
And every time you look, someone from our beloved series has passed on. So
I was on, probably shouldn't have said that. I don't know. I don't want people to figure out where we work for obvious reasons. We don't need stalkers.
Yeah.
But I overheard a conversation and I heard them say his name and I was thinking, the name sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who is that? But I didn't want to seem stupid and ask them.
Right.
So I'm just going to seem stupid and announce it on, our podcast.
It's cool. I don't know any actors' names. I didn't know that was his name.
Oh, okay. So
until I saw. But.
So I was thinking it sounded familiar, and also he was in some James Bond films, and I've seen the movies that he was in. So I know him from more than just Harry Potter. But
Yeah.
So I got off work and I was flipping through Facebook, and that's when I made the obvious connection. It wasn't me; it was someone who posted it on Facebook, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Hagrid died."
Yeah.
And I posted on our Facebook page a quote that he had made. And I didn't know that he said this, but he said 50 years from now, people will be watching the Harry Potter films with their kids, and I won't be here anymore, but Hagrid will.
Mm-hmm.
I'm crying now.
I know, you're getting choked up. It is sad. It's really sad. He seemed like such a sweet man, too.
Emma told me he was 72, and I said,
Wow.
No way.
Wow.
But like you said, time just gets
Slips
away
right
from
out
us.
of
I
your
mean, it's been
hands.
20 years.
Yeah.
All those kids aren't kids anymore.
Right. So that's your depressing news for this podcast.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Good job, world. You've made Becky cry. Yeah. He'll be missed for sure. Oh, I'm so self-absorbed. It's wild. So, when I was typing up last week's show notes, we talked about the Earthling Halloween series, which we didn't realize Goblin was number 13 of.
Right.
And I swear this list has stopped at 13 last time I checked.
In the spooky world, 13 is really ominous on its own. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that he's number 13.
Right. And since I was typing up the show notes, I went and looked up the list again just to make sure I had all the authors' names right, the names of the titles of the books, which number they're in, everything just correct. And there's 17 in this list now. And I could have sworn 13 was the last one last time I checked. But now, number 14 is Bloodlines by James A. Moore, who is on this list quite often. Number 15 is One Who Was With Me by Conrad Williams. He's also repeating on this list. And then number 16 is Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracasso? Hey, read this.
Philip Fracassi?
Fracassi. I don't know why I said Fracassa. By Philip Fracassi. Number 17 is Marla by Jonathan Jans. So I feel bad for not including the rest of them in the list. So there you go. I could have sworn Goblin was the last one last time I checked, but that was only just a few days ago. So that's kind of wild. But yeah, I want to read all of those. Oh, please.
Yes.
Everyone. Please. Anyone out there. If you can hear me, I'm going on a train ride with my hubby boo on November 11th, and we're coming back the 13th. We're going on a 23-hour train ride.
Ooh.
We're flying into Nebraska, getting on a train, and going through Nebraska, Colorado, and then ending in Utah. And then we're flying back from Utah. But it's for our wedding anniversary. So I'm really excited. I've always wanted to ride a long train ride like that, one that you actually stay on.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. Now I'm in the mindset that I need books that are set on trains. So please, anyone out there, hello, send me those recommendations, please. I've already gotten recommended The Polar Express, and I know, obviously, Murder on the Orient Express, but I've already read that twice. So I don't really want to read that on a train, but I might bring it just for aesthetic purposes. Who knows? And there's been a couple of them, and I found that Michael Crichton has a train book. It's called The Great Train Robbery. And I love Michael Crichton, so I might just buy that. I know Agatha Christie has another train mystery book, so I think it's called Murder on the Blue Train.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. If you can think of anything, anybody out there, that'd be great. Yeah. So I'm excited. I want to take train books.
One of these days, I want to go ride the Orient Express.
I know, right?
It's still
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched a documentary on it one time. It's really cool. It was a really awesome documentary. It talked about Mata Hari. How she rode the Orient Express and the spy stuff that happened, and like it's really cool.
That is so cool. I want to ride the Orient Express. Then if I ever ride the Orient Express, I will take Murder on the Orient Express and I will read it. That would just be surreal.
Yeah.
All encompassing.
Yeah.
So before we get into our book club discussion,
yeah,
is there anything you need to add or say? Or
I don't think so. I didn't even read the Dolly Parton book because I was everything surrounded Goblin this week trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Did I talk last week? I don't remember, and I didn't listen to the podcast on the way here because I was listening to Goblin.
Right.
Did I mention that I finished Lock Every Door last week, or did that happen after?
That happened after.
So I finished Lock Every Door.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad.
I had to finish it by myself because there was so much bad language. And,
yeah. Yeah.
And so Emma did not finish listening, but she did get the skinny on it. So she was invested in the story. She just didn't want to, listen to the cussing. And the thing about it too was that you'd go for so long without any cussing,
and then all of a sudden,
you'd forget almost that there was cussing.
Ya.
Yeah, and then there would just be bam, this cuss word, and it's like multiple cuss words.
Yeah,
and then they'd get it all out of their system, and then you'd go for a while,
right? And then you forget again because it's audio, and you're just going.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I think horror writers must think that they have to cuss to scare you.
Yeah.
So I think from now on, if I read a scary book, I'm going to only do physical. That way I can skim through it. I can skip it. It's not as bad like if you see the word and just kind of skip past it or change the word in your head so you're not hearing it or whatever. It's not as bad.
Right.
I didn't like hearing it.
And like, I understand, like, I mean, if somebody's in a horrible situation, they're probably going to let it slide.
Yeah.
Let it slip out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I might even too if it's a serious situation.
Yeah.
But I guess they feel the need to add it in there. It's just sort of like horror movies a lot of the time. And I think we're hopefully getting away from this stigma with it, but they tend to have a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? That has nothing to do with the horror aspect.
Right.
I'm just annoyed now. But yeah, they do tend to do that. I'm glad you liked it though. So we're just going to go ahead and get into our Goblin discussion. If we have any time remaining that we need to spare, we'll start talking about hauls and stuff. I do have some stuff, but it can wait until next week if it has to. It's no big deal, guys. Calm down. So yeah, we've never done this before, so this is exciting. I think we should have the recording pulled up of my mother first.
Yes.
See what she has to say about it and comment on that, and then we can get into what we thought about the stories. So I'm gonna try to add that now. So here's what my mom has to say about Goblin.
Okay, this is for Goblin. I really liked the book, even though at times it was a little freaky and there was some language in it, so I wouldn't read it with small children. But it was a good book. It was I like how they showed each different character's fears and how their imagination took over and overwhelmed them and affected their daily lives. And I liked how the first chapter and the last chapter sort of came together. And it sort of brought closure, sort of like bookends. Anyway, it was good. I think I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. Thanks.
I love that.
Yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, I agree. I liked Goblin too. I'm glad you liked it. And yeah, I really liked how everything came together in the end as well.
I did too. I agreed with everything your mom said.
Yeah.
I will say, like if we talk specifically about the novellas, the different novellas, some of them I liked how they ended, and some of them I didn't.
For sure.
And I was glad also. I thought it was neat, but I thought it was neat how after you read Tom and we just left him hanging there after the prologue, you do kind of get a glimpse at, okay, we haven't forgotten about him in one of the novellas. He's still hanging out there.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Yeah. And you're reading in Happy Birthday Hunter, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely got to do with Tom.
Right.
But then he's only kind of briefly talked about.
I love that.
Yeah.
It gave me hope.
Me too. And then you get to the epilogue, and there he is again, and you get closure, sort of, for Tom.
I mean, I think Tom's okay.
Yeah.
I should say, by the way, I mean, this should go without saying, but I'm just going to say it anyway. There's going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
So, FYI, I'll put it in the title as well. So,
but it is book club, and you guys should have read it,
right?
Even though you didn't email us, which is a little disappointing, a little saddening.
Sad, but
yes, but the whole point of reading it was so we could talk about it. So if you didn't read it, we're sorry that you won't really understand what we're talking about. And at the same time, if you're going to read it because we're talking about it, we're sorry to spoil any of it for you. But that was the purpose of reading it as a book club book.
Right, I agree. So yeah, thanks for sending that audio, Mommy.
Yes,
I loved
amazing.
it. It was so cool. I was really glad that it came up onto this recording very easily. I'm glad you liked it.
Brooke is getting so smart.
Yeah.
By the end of this month, if I get my computer like I want, I could start helping you. Maybe you could send me stuff and I can work on it.
That's a good idea.
That way you won't have to do so much. And then I can be smart too.
Yeah, we can both be smart together. I'm glad 4 out of 5 stars. That seems very fair to me.
Yeah.
How I ended up rating it was, I know I mentioned it to you last week. I don't know if I did it on a podcast. So many words come out of my mouth throughout the week. I rated each of the stories inside of it, and then I averaged it out, and then that just gave me the rating, and I thought that was fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should dive into each story individually and say what we liked, didn't like, what we gave it, if we rated it, blah, blah, blah. And if you want, you can go ahead with the first one.
A Man in Slices?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your favorite.
I don't know. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
How it ended.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is one of the creepiest ones, I think.
Yeah.
Emma was, I think the girls were still listening to me read it aloud, where I would, skip the parts that were inappropriate for children.
Yeah.
I giggled one time and I couldn't tell them why I was giggling. It was the part where they sneaked into the adult movie theater.
Adult theater.
And I'm laughing. I'm like, how do I edit this? And I just skipped some of it. And anyway, I kind of giggled because, I can see teenage boys doing something like that.
Right.
So these two guys are like best friends, but really it's mostly friendship on, I feel at the end of the book, it definitely was mostly friendship on the one guy's part.
Yeah.
And the other guy,
I know.
Charles, he just was creepy and couldn't get friends because he's been creepy since he was born, apparently.
Yeah.
And
It's been a little freak since he was born.
yeah, I mean, he ran over a dog. That was the
Right.
part I was really upset for Brooke to read.
Yeah.
I
I didn't like it.
But then the dog disappeared. So what really happened there? That's still a mystery.
Yeah.
But the creepiest part is the actual present day part.
Yeah.
Why would a girl? She's got to be just as creepy as him.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make a great serial killer pair.
Yeah. Why would you ask your boyfriend to cut off parts of his body and send them to you?
Yeah. To show his love for you? I don't think so. That's
No.
too much. That red flag, guys.
Yeah,
Red flag.
red flag. For sure. Like
Report
300
her.
red flags. And then he's like, I can't cut my own. He was going to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't cut my own toe off. So let me sneak into the morgue.
Right.
And
Logical next step.
yeah. And I was just like baffled. And then he couldn't get the earlobe. So he goes and creeps and hides inside his friend's closet.
Yes.
Here's the part that made this so upsetting for me.
Yeah.
Robert was his friend's name. Is that right?
Yes.
Charles and Robert. Robert's standing there. He's like, I need to turn him in because this is bad behavior.
Yeah.
Unacceptable behavior. I need to turn him in. But then he says, no, he's my best friend. He needs me. He doesn't have anyone else.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, the guy's cutting him up on the bed.
Yeah, he just pops right out and is like, okay, sorry, I got to use your body. Let me cut you up.
Yeah, it's like, not only am I going to take your ear, but I'm going to save you for later for when she asks me for other body parts.
Right.
What?
Yeah. And then you have to know, going further down the line, when he finally meets this girl again in person, I don't know if he actually met her at all in person.
Yeah, he met her at a wedding.
Oh, right. So when he finally sees her again, I mean, she's asking for your body parts.
Right.
She's not asking for somebody else's body parts.
Right.
So the relationship's not going to work out. She's not going to be very happy.
Maybe she'll be more impressed that he sneaked into the morgue or killed his friend.
Ooh.
I mean, that was his philosophy going into it. He's like, well, when we've been together a little bit longer and we meet again and she sees it's not my body parts, maybe she'll be more impressed with what I did to get them than if it was just my own body parts.
Right. Why would she want your body part? I know that immediately when I read that, I was like, oh no.
So disturbing.
No, sir. This is not okay. This is not a healthy relationship.
Not at all.
And you're not a healthy person anyway.
No.
But yeah,
I
know.
met the wrong girl.
Throughout, and when they first became friends, Robert and Charles, Robert was like, something's off. Maybe I shouldn't. My mom doesn't want me to be friends with him. Oh, but he's so lonely.
Yeah.
Let me just be his friend. And then throughout the rest of their lives growing up, he's like, always wonders, like, should I just stop talking to Charles? Like, is this really the friendship I should have? But then again, he's just such a good guy. And he's like, oh, but he's so alone. He has no one else. So it's like, he felt bad for him. It was like a pity relationship.
Right.
And then he ended up dead. So
Moral of the story, be careful about who you pity.
Yeah, really. Be careful about that. Yeah, I didn't care for that one either. It was okay. It was fine. It was enjoyable enough. I actually kind of liked how it just suddenly threw that ending at you.
Yeah. Definitely did not see it coming.
I did not see it coming to Robert, for sure. I definitely knew he was going to kill somebody. I definitely knew Charles was going to get body parts from a human being at some point that's not dead already. But I did not think it was going to be his best bud since childhood.
No.
I gave that one, I did 4.5 technically, but to average it up at the end, I think I just gave it 4. Where's my sticky note? Yeah, I just rounded down and gave it 4 to make it a little bit even.
Right.
So I gave that one a 4-star, personally. I don't know if you rated them. You didn't have to, but.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I would rate that.
Yeah.
I mean, for spook, for creep,
Yeah.
definitely
That
high
was
on the list.
definitely unsettling.
For how it ended, slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
That poor Robert was the one. But yeah, it would be definitely high on the on the rating list for creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I first read it, you know, when we read the reasoning behind the Earthling Halloween series about how it's supposed to be about like ghouls and monsters and less about real person horror, I was like, this is real person horror.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, the town automatically you're introduced and it's like the perfect Creepsville.
Right.
But that's obviously got some weird supernatural thing going on.
Right.
But like this story was just evolved around these two regular men,
Right.
one who was disturbed, and he just cuts up his best friend at the end.
Right.
I mean, it was nothing that couldn't happen in real life, and I was like, eh.
I would say most of the stories were not
Yeah,
supernatural. Some
I
of them were,
noticed.
but I think when you get to the story with Wayne
Mm-hmm.
about the key,
Mm-hmm. I love that one.
going back and looking back, that perhaps the reasoning behind a lot of the
Yeah.
normal people committing these acts is supernatural.
Right, and because of the curse on
Right.
this town. Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, maybe that really happened. So, yeah, that one was okay. Did you like the second one?
Camp. You're gonna have to refresh my memory on what this one is about because the title's not helping me.
It was about Walter Camp. He was just
Walter.
terrified all the time.
Yes.
He like
Poor Walter.
retired. He was a teacher. He was a history teacher. He moved into this
Right.
apartment complex, and he like got rid of all of his furniture
Right.
because he could not. Once he got it in his head that the thought of a ghost scaring him to death,
Yes.
he could not settle down. He had to get rid of his furniture. He had to be able to see every corner of his house.
Yes.
Like it drove him mad.
The bed was see-through.
The bed was plexiglass.
Yeah,
No, sir.
weird.
That would hurt my hip even more than
Yeah.
it already does. Are you kidding me?
His sister thought he was a nut job.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a little confused about how it ended. Like, was that a ghost that killed him? Or okay, so it was interesting that he saw Charles and Robert outside his window. I liked how that pulled
Yeah. Love
the
that.
thread. And apparently everything is happening on the same night with the rain.
I was going to ask you if you realized that.
And
I
I
love
think,
that.
was it in this one that you hear the sirens go by?
Yes.
And I think that ties into Wayne's
Yeah, at the
story.
end.
Yeah,
All the
I
police
think that's
cars.
I
I
think
agree.
that's what that is. I can't figure out who the person or thing was that Walter saw when he kept moving the sheets back and forth. He
I
said
think
mom, didn't he?
He thought he saw his mom. At one point, I think it was all just in his head. I think he killed himself. I think he caused
Okay.
his own heart attack.
Okay.
I don't think anything actually
was there.
was there. I think it was all in his head, and he was just scared so bad, and he just scared himself that bad to where he thought he was seeing all these people and ghosts when really it was just himself, I think, in the
Yeah.
reflection. Because he ended up putting like a pineapple on his head.
Yeah,
he put
was
his
doing
own
some
warrior
weird-
paint on his face.
Yeah.
So he thought at one point he was like, "Is that my mom? Like, I don't know what your mom looks like, but I don't think that was your mom." And then he was like, "Oh no, it's Chief Blackwater. He's
Yeah.
come back to haunt me for whatever I've done or whatever. Just coming back to get payment for the town, basically." And I don't think it was though, but he thought it was Chief Blackwater because of the stuff he was wearing.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
He thought the pineapple was like feathers on Chief
headdress.
Blackwater. Yeah, and he saw the warrior paint that he put on himself in the reflection, and he thought it was Chief Blackwater's warrior paint.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and the
and-
plexiglass would have a reflection.
Right. So, I mean, I do think it was in of itself a little bit creepy because of how he ended up, moving his furniture a certain way, setting up all these weird alarms and
Yeah.
traps. I think when it would randomly go off, it was a little creepy, but for the most part, he even like would go back and check the camera that he set up, and he was like, "Oh, yes, I did set that alarm. It was not a ghost. I set that alarm to go off so that I would check the cameras." Right. But yeah, I think just him building up all this horrible suspense, he just ended up terrifying himself to death.
Right.
So I don't think that one was really supernatural. I liked how creepy it was though. And I really, really liked when he went to his next door neighbor for like, what did they have? Coffee? Tea? I don't know.
I think it was
Herbal tea.
Yeah.
And I really liked how he was giving her like the Goblin history lesson,
Mhm.
and it showed us the history of Goblin. And I really
Right.
enjoyed that part.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like when you find this girl years and years ago, once she became old enough, quote, "What's old enough to get a rope tied to you and walk into a scary forest that no man wants to go into? Are you kidding me?" So she goes into the forest, and after a while, the men are like, "Well, she hasn't come back. She's been gone for like 4 hours. Okay, let's get our own ropes on and go find her."
Mhm.
And they eventually find the end of the rope, and it's like all ragged and bloody, and they look around and they find her body, and her like chest is completely blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, when I read that, and then like when you go into was the Hunter one next? I don't know.
Yes.
And at one point, when you get to Neil Nash's, when he wants that great owls,
Mm-hmm.
at that point I was like, oh, the girl died because the great owls ate her insides.
Mm-hmm.
Yum. But then at the end,
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, there's a witch. There's
Yep.
actually a witch.
Yeah.
There's actually a witch in the forest who blows up your heart. What? So I thought that was really cool. I loved hearing the creepy stories about Goblin from when it was being settled.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of the word. I gave that one 5. I really liked that one. 5 stars for me. 5 stars for Walter Camp. It was really sad though. I hated how he did kill himself.
Yeah.
Like I hated that.
I liked Walter.
Yeah.
I liked his
Seemed like a really nice
character.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just crazy.
He was. Just happens.
And his neighbor really loved him, and she tried to always calm him down when she heard him like
Freaking
getting-
out.
yeah.
Yeah, she seemed really nice too. I was sort of thinking like it was gonna be like a Stephen King's It moment where
Yeah.
like she seems like a nice old lady, but turns out it's actually the demon clown. Anyway, spoiler alert if anybody hasn't seen that or read it. Yeah, so the third one was probably, I don't know, I think the last one was my favorite, but the third one for Happy Birthday Hunter that covered Neil Nash,
Yes.
the big game hunter, that was probably my second favorite. I really liked that one. I really liked how it was like Great Gatsby meets The Most Dangerous Game vibes. Like it was really cool in my mind how they set it up.
Yeah.
Like they all come to this huge extravagant birthday party for this really wealthy couple, and there's like hanging meat in a tent, there's music and lights and balloons. Like it just seemed like a almost Gatsby-esque party,
Mhm.
but slightly off kilter.
Yeah.
It was
A
a
little
horror
dark.
version, a little dark. I really, really wanted it to turn more into The Most Dangerous Game, and I really wanted. This is why I said I stared off into the distance like a serial killer last episode, because what I wanted to happen was I wanted Neil Nash, who was, in about halfway through the story, he started like getting angry a little bit.
Yeah.
I started losing it.
Yeah.
I wanted him to just go berserk and kill all of his party guests. That's what I wanted to happen. I wanted the game that he wanted to be the human beings, because that's
Right.
what it is in The Most Dangerous Game too. Like he wants to hunt humans because that's the most dangerous game.
Right.
That's where the title comes from. But no, he just wants an owl. Don't get me wrong though, they sounded like creepy owls.
Yeah.
They were-
Those owls.
They're
They
huge.
sounded huge.
at least
owls.
they sounded huge.
They sound very huge. And also a little bit cool. I mean, what was his name? Jonathan Trachtenbreit?
Trachtenbreit, yeah, something like that.
He wasn't afraid of them, and they had this connection.
Yeah.
That to me, they weren't scary to me because of that.
In my mind, they're just
however-
owls.
Yeah, they're just owls. And but I will say this one ended halfway how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And I told you before I finished it how I wanted it to end. So
Mhm.
what were you thinking when I told you how I wanted it to end?
Because I had already finished it at that
Yeah.
point, and I was like, oh, she's close. So you had said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had said that you wanted the owls to kill Neil Nash,
Yes,
right?
I-
You wanted him to
Yes.
get eaten alive by the owls
Yes.
because he wanted to kill the owls so bad, so greedily, so illegally.
Yeah.
Like that's what you wanted to happen. Yeah, it takes everything in me not to, I can't lie very well.
Yeah.
So I just sort of like tried to play it off cool, and I was like, oh, hope she didn't notice.
I didn't.
Yeah. So
I knew you couldn't tell me anything. I just
Right.
wanted to get my theory out there.
Right. And some people though, when they want to know, and I'm like, you need to finish it first.
Right.
I'm not telling you. So, and I figured you did want to read it. You wanted to find out for yourself. But yeah, you were really close. I was impressed. And that is something I noticed with all of these stories. They led me personally
Down one path.
down one path, and I was wrong every time. And I mean, I for sure thought when we got to the last story, I for sure thought it was his wife in the
Me
glass. I was like,
too.
I was
The
dead
Goblin
set.
police did too.
Yeah, they were creepy. I'm
And
glad
the
they
little girl
finally
made me
came
laugh.
out.
She's like, that's
No.
stupid.
Why would that? I know. We'll get there. Oh, I love that one. But yeah, I liked Neil Nash's. I
was sad for Harvey.
Yeah, I was sad that it wasn't Neil Nash that got eaten by the owl,
Me
since it was
too.
obviously that's where it was gonna go at that point. Yeah, I felt bad for Harvey. You said the only thing he did wrong was be Neil Nash's friend. That was the only thing he did wrong. He was such a nice guy, just trying to help this man celebrate his birthday, and that's what he did wrong.
That's what he got for his
And
help.
I hated it. I always hate this kind of horrible, leaves a terrible feeling in your gut ending when he gets back to the house and he's like, I have what I wanted. It took Harvey's life, but I got what I wanted in the end for my birthday. And his wife comes in and is like, all right, you got to open the present I got you. This is one I couldn't show in front of everybody else. And you're like, oh, what's this going to be? Oh, look at that. It's another owl. And I remember you at work, you were like, it never struck me to think that maybe she was also a hunter. And I was like, yeah, it never struck me either. Well, honestly, I thought when I read that was that she just paid somebody to go hunt the owl. But it's never said. It's never said whether she's a huntress. It's never said whether or not she paid somebody to get it. All we know is that she managed to get him what he wanted, although he wanted to be the one to kill it because he's a big game hunter and that's what they want. I hated it. I hated the way it made me feel because and I know you probably haven't seen this, but have you ever seen The Mist by Stephen King? So, I'm sorry, I've seen The Mist by Stephen King. The book's by Stephen King, and I'm sure he had, I'm sure he helped write the screenwrite. But it's just a horrible, nasty ending like that. I hate it. It's where, I'm just going to tell you what happens. This horrible mist takes over this town and everybody freaks out and doesn't know what to do. And they're scared of what's inside the mist. So some people get locked in a grocery store and that's who you're following. You're following a man and his son are locked in the grocery store and they have to all work together on the inside and become friends. You see who your enemies are, blah, blah, blah. So at one point they risk leaving the grocery store while the mist is still out there. And they get into this car and they drive and they drive and they drive. And it just seems like this is the end of the world. The mist is everywhere. We don't know what to do. This man has a gun and I think it has 5 bullets in it and there's 6 people in the car. He's like, they're so desperate at the end. He's like, I'm just going to put everybody out of their misery because it's better this way than taking on what's going to kill you in the mist. And it's these gigantic scary bugs and stuff like monsters. Really not a fun time. And so he kills everyone in the car with him, including his son. And he wants to kill himself, but he uses all the bullets for everybody else. So he's just sitting there, miserable, wishing he could die. He gets outside and is like, come take me, monsters! And then the mist clears and there's army all around. It was horrible. I hated it. It reminds me of that. I hate that. You could have avoided this if you had just waited.
Oh my gosh.
And, oh God, I hated it. Anybody out there likes The Mist? I hated it. But that's what it made me feel like. You killed Harvey for no reason.
Right.
For no reason. But I really liked that one. I liked the Gatsby Most Dangerous Game vibes that it gave me. And even though it didn't go the way I wanted and the ending was absolutely god-awful, it still managed to, really rope me in. I was really intrigued by this man's wealth and the forest and the owls.
Yeah.
So I gave it 5 stars.
And did I say already, because we talked about this before, did I say on the podcast about how it went back to Tom?
Yes.
Yes.
You did mention that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and in Neil Nash, this is the only one until you get to the epilogue where it, references Tom. Because he's like, oh, I know where the mayor's at. He's about to receive a crate. Yeah. And we're like, oh, the crate that Tom is delivering? I wonder when we'll see him again.
Right.
And then you don't see him again until the end. So, yeah, I like that it mentioned Tom, too. What's the 4th? The 4th one's Presto. Did you like Presto?
I liked Presto. I did, actually.
Okay.
And for me, that was one of the ones that was actually real spooky. Not just real people, but it had that magical.
Yeah, it definitely had some legitimate dark magic involved. Yeah. So at least it was supernatural in that end.
Kind of felt bad for the magician, even though he was not good, but I feel like he got bullied or tricked into not.
Yeah. He was very morally gray,
Yeah.
You wanted to root for him, but you knew you couldn't.
Yeah.
You knew you shouldn't. But yeah.
And then
I love his name.
Yeah, Roman Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought his name was
cool. What
a
name.
And then I really was feeling bad for the boy who idolized him and knew everything about him that there was to know about him.
Yes.
Because he was one of the boys at the end who I'm pretty sure didn't make it out of the magic show.
I interpreted it that he did.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he got picked. And I like to think, maybe I just read it so quickly that I didn't, because I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And I have this horrible habit where I will just skip paragraphs to see what's about to happen. I'm like, no, Brooke, stop. And I smack myself and I go back and reread it. But maybe I just read it so quickly because how I took it was that because he saw him in the diner, I believe, and talked to him about how he respected him, he, in my mind, Roman Emperor was choosing not to take Pete.
Okay. I like that.
So that's
That's
how
I'm going to choose to
interpreted
think
it.
about it too now.
But all those other kids, they gone. Did you realize, sorry, I didn't realize, you don't realize it until the last story. Did you notice that in the last one, when talks about how he buried Molly, she was buried in her apron, and how in Presto, when they were, I guess they do their little ritual before the shows.
Yeah.
I guess that's what gives them the power for the shows. With all the dark magic, they desecrate these graves and get these bodies out, which I thought was really quirky, that gobliners are buried standing up.
Yeah.
I thought that was very weird and interesting, and I liked it for the weird small town.
Yeah.
But at one of them, he's just looking at all the bodies that are getting taken up, and he's like, that one has a grocery store apron. And at the end, I was like, no! No! They took her out of her grave! No! Because, like, at the end, you love Molly.
Right.
Like, she was such a great, normal, nice lady. And their love was just normal and nice.
Yeah.
Like, it was great to read about. And then you're like, oh my God, why? That's how I felt, at least.
That's funny. I figured that she was one of the bodies that was released, but I had forgotten about the apron. I had forgotten about that.
And I had
detail.
and I'm sure he put it in there so boldly for you to notice.
Yeah.
Because when I read it, I was like, buried in the apron. That's weird. But okay, whatever. And in my head, though, honestly, I thought it was like an older person who was buried. Because
who else would have an apron on?
Right. Who else would have an apron on when they're buried? Nobody, not likely, at least I should say, nobody modern would be buried in like an apron.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like interesting.
I remember it now that you said it, but I didn't think about it when I was listening to it.
And then the last one, I had to stop. I had to stop reading. I was like, you've got to be kidding me, not Molly. So, but anyway, we're still on Presto. So, I really like the last story. I realize now, I think, that I don't care as much for circusy stuff. And I know that he wasn't in a circus. I know he wasn't a part of a circus, no traveling circus, nothing like that. But a book that I DNF'd earlier this year that was a pumpkin's pick, we need that sticker, was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And that book was so popular. That book is so loved. And I did not like it. And I guess it was because I just don't like the circus vibes. It's just weird. I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I think it's just odd. But, like, I know it's odd because it's the circus. So, and that's what it made me think about. It made me think of just, like, he was a circus performer. And I thought all of that kind of hidden magic show stuff, even though obviously his wasn't hidden. Like, his was real dark magic. But it just made me think of the circus. And I just didn't care for it as much. But near the ending, when they're taking the bodies out of the grave, I was like, what? You can't see my eyes. But I'm like, oh. It got better in that aspect once it all came to life. And I know it's hard to like write a good short story because the story is short and like you have to like lay it out perfectly to where you have the beginning, middle, and the end all in a shorter amount of words and time. So normally short stories tend to end with a bang. Right. And I think all of them ended with a bang. Yeah. So I mean it still was a good story, but I think I gave it 4 stars because of the circus aspect. Right. I was so glad that I interpreted it, that he did not take little Pete. I was like, oh, little Pete's so sweet. He just wants to see his hero, and his hero was nice to him. Yeah. And his hero gave him a quarter to keep, did a little magic trick there for him, like, you know, like any good magician would. And I like to choose to believe that he did not kill Pete. And then I wondered, I was like, well, so they empty the caskets and they send the older dead bodies up to this death lady entity magic promoter person. Do they bury the kids into the caskets?
Well, it said at the end that they had to replace the bodies.
So I guess
they magically put them in there because how would you dig all those
graves?
Like,
because they do disappear on stage. It's like a disappearing act when it happens. So now my next question is, are the kids buried alive?
Yeah, I did wonder that too.
Because that makes me want to gouge my eyes out.
I will say that the endings of every book kind of left an open interpretation for how it really ended.
Yeah. I hate to think that the children are buried alive. That makes me want to bang my head against the wall. But I don't know. But it didn't take Pete, and that's all that matters. And you know what? A lot of those kids were bullies. Not that they deserve to be buried alive, but it wasn't very nice. So
they were bullies.
So yeah, Presto was okay. Did you notice later on? Okay, sorry. I'm just going to stop. We're going to get there.
I want to say that in real life, it is not okay to say they deserve this or they deserve that.
Right.
But when you're reading something that's not real,
Right.
I think it's okay.
And plainly not real.
Yes. I mean, every Murder, She Wrote episode, we would be like, that's the one who's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you wouldn't say that in real life. No
Mhm.
one deserves to be murdered.
Right.
No one deserves to have some of this stuff that happens happen to them. But when you're reading something that's not real or watching something that's not real,
It's a little bit more lenient.
yeah,
Thanks for making me feel better.
yeah, you're welcome.
The only person that didn't seem to deserve it was Harvey.
Yeah, poor Harvey.
Oh, and Robert. Robert was just a good
Yeah,
friend.
poor
I
Robert.
can't. Oh, I can't.
And this next one that we're going to talk about,
That's the zoo one.
the zoo one. Oh, a
It
mix up
said
at the zoo.
a mix up at the zoo.
This poor
It didn't
guy.
go how I thought it was going to go.
Me either. I'm not sure how I thought it was going to go, but not like that.
You want to know how I thought it was going to go?
Yes.
So I thought because this man has such two weird jobs, not
Mhm.
weird. The zoo one's normal. The zoo one is
Yeah.
a normal job. And don't get me wrong, everybody's got to work at a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
But he works at a zoo with live animals that he takes care of, that he feeds, that he loves. And then he goes and helps slaughter animals.
Yeah.
I don't think you can work both of those. And obviously he couldn't. He couldn't take it. It started to give him nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
It started to make him like think odd, murderous animal cruelty thoughts.
Mhm.
Like it just made me a little uncomfortable.
He had really bad dreams.
He did. He had some bad stuff going into his head. And his friends like encouraging him, you gotta quit one of these jobs, bro. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not gonna quit one of these jobs, bro. You're quitting the job, bro. You're quitting the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it, which one you need to quit. But in his mind, at first he was like, oh, I'm gonna quit both and I'm just gonna start anew. And I was like, oh, do that too, whatever. But the slaughterhouse couldn't be me. Couldn't be
Yeah.
me.
No.
Couldn't handle it. And I know somebody's gonna handle it, but it ain't me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't our man here. I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
What's his name?
It's weird.
That's happy birthday.
Dirk.
Dirk. Yes. What a name. It's the first word on there, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it
funny.
is.
Yeah, and it wasn't the move for our buddy Dirk. He could not handle the slaughterhouse either. He was a great tour guide, though. He really was.
Yeah, the kids loved him.
So later on, when it starts to get mixed up in his brain,
Mm-hmm.
and he's starting to have like a hard time differentiating reality from his nightmares,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and since it was called a mix up at the zoo, I thought since he gives tours to children at the zoo and he gives tours to children/teenagers at the slaughterhouse, which I never want to go on,
Yeah.
but I guess these gobliners do. I thought in my mind that he was either going to take the kids at the zoo and accidentally walk them into like the tiger cage, the
Mm-hmm.
gorilla cage, and they were all gonna like get mauled,
Mm-hmm.
or he was gonna take the kids at the zoo and accidentally somehow get them to the slaughterhouse
Mm-hmm.
and they were gonna get slaughtered on accident.
Right.
Or I thought, or the other way around. I thought he was going to take the people from the slaughterhouse and they get slaughtered somehow, or they get taken to the zoo and get locked up. Like I didn't know how it was going to be, but since it was called a mix up at the zoo, I was like, surely he's going to kill children somehow. But then I started to think, but we just finished a short story where they killed children. So I feel like you can't have the short stories just be the same ending.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
Josh Malerman must really not like children.
yeah, I guess not. And I was like, well, I don't know. But because logically, for good publicity and good marketing and people liking your short stories, you can't have Presto killed all these kids and now Dirk's going to kill all these kids.
Right.
But that's where I thought it was going to go. And I was really sad at the end, too.
I was so sad.
Yeah,
That was so unexpected.
it was sad and unexpected. He killed the gorilla.
Yeah.
He killed Eula the gorilla.
He finally gets a girlfriend,
Yeah,
takes her on this really cool, what would be a romantic
yeah. You know,
date.
if he hadn't sliced the gorilla
Yeah.
just the day before or that day.
That day.
Yeah.
I cried.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
So
this
sad.
sucks. Dang. I won't say I cried, but
Well-
it really doesn't take much for me to do it, so I don't know why I didn't. But I was like, oh no, he thought he was at the slaughterhouse, but he was at the zoo and he sliced the gorilla.
And Eula was his favorite.
You know, and he loved Eula, and Eula was so nice.
And in his dream, he dreamed that Eula was really a woman and she escaped her gorilla body.
Yeah.
Like, he really loved
And like
Eula.
got freedom. And then he,
It was terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I hated that one.
yeah.
I did not like how it ended at
Yeah.
all.
That's how, like, I hated the ending of Harvey. And don't get me wrong, I didn't like how Eula died, but Yeah, that was rough.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I gave that one. So I was torn because I was like, I didn't like Presto. Presto was like my least favorite at that point. But then when I finished the zoo one, I was like, I didn't like this one as much. And I probably would have still given it a 4-star. Like I gave Presto a 4-star, but I gave the zoo one 3-star. I think I would have given it a 4-star if it wasn't so. I didn't like the dreamy sequences.
Yeah, that was so
one. I didn't like
weird.
the font. But that's neither here nor there. But I just didn't like, I guess, how they were written. I don't care very much for odd, dreamy, like,
yeah. I mean,
sequences.
dreams are weird.
Yeah.
But it
was just all really odd.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to explain why I didn't like the dream sequences, I will say. But I just didn't care for them as much.
Yeah.
Gosh, you have to keep a rag on you. You keep crying.
I'm not crying. I think I'm having allergy problems.
Oh, yeah. So I gave the zoo one 3-star. That's what I did.
I don't blame you. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good rating.
At the end of when I got into the last one, I actually picked up real sticky notes and was like writing what I thought was going to happen and sticking them in the pages. And like, I was so adamant that I was right, Becky. I thought I was so right. And then I was so wrong. It ends. Oh, yeah. At the zoo one.
And he's just sobbing.
He is just sobbing. But shortly before that,
yeah.
I don't know. I must be getting them mixed up because I could have sworn near the ending of the zoo one. Oh, no. I know what it was. I was about to say that I thought Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
What's his full name?
Wayne
Sherman.
Yeah. The Wayne Sherman topiaries.
Duh. So I thought near the end of the zoo one, I thought somehow Wayne Sherman was mentioned, but it wasn't near the end. It was somewhere in the middle when he's still talking to his friend, and his friend's like, you got to get another job or quit that job. And he starts talking about how he knew somebody who worked at the Wayne Sherman, what do you say, topiaries?
They worked at his hedges.
Yeah,
actually,
they trimmed his hedges for him, and he was like, that's the best job I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that was going to be the next one we slid into, and I was really excited about it. So I just like how it connected before we got to the story. Like it referenced it before we even got there.
Right.
So that's all I was thinking. In my head, for some reason, I thought it was near the very end of the zoo one, but I was like, no, you're right. He was just sobbing, holding Eula. That was so sad.
It was the saddest.
So,
oh my gosh.
The last one was by far my favorite.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was supposed to be my favorite because at the end it's like it throws so many Easter eggs to all the other stories so often. You're like, everything's connecting and it's so fun to read about. But I really love the idea of a maze. I really love the idea of everybody in the forest searching in the forest for whatever. I love all the animals. So the great owls were mentioned again in this one. I love, like, what does he have at the finish line?
Right.
The mystery between what does he have at the finish line? So I'm going to look at my sticky notes and I'm going to go through them. And I remember I put a sticky note at the beginning of this story and I said, I hope/think we will see the crate creature again in this one, because once I finished like the first page here, I was like, oh, okay, I bet. I just like to throw random guesses out into the universe. I do this all the time when I watch thriller movies with my friend, and she's like, you've got to stop. And sometimes I'm accurate, and it's fun. But I was like, okay, in the maze, in my mind, he said nobody solves it. So in my mind, everybody gets lost before you find out later that he had to, for legal reasons, have secret escapes for people who were getting lost. And so in my mind, immediately I was like, the crate creature is in the maze killing people. That's where I went right off the bat. But then after a while, he has to create secret hatches so that people can get out of the maze, because I thought it was so funny that he was building this maze for his wife. That's not the funny part, but for his deceased wife, in honor of her. So he was out there all the time. And this one man, eventually, once the maze gets big enough, this neighbor comes over and he's like, I'm sorry, I just had to like look inside of the maze. But he finds him in the maze after he's been in there for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, you were in his maze for 2 days? You didn't cry for help? Like, he was outside trimming his hedges. Like, you could have yelled.
Right.
And he finds him while he's trimming his hedges. I thought that was the funniest thing. And it was a really funny moment. He's like, I'm so sorry for trespassing, but I've been stuck in here for 2 days.
And he feeds him and he goes, maybe this will teach you not to trespass.
Yeah.
But he's joking with him.
Right.
But
It was so funny.
it was very funny.
That was probably the funniest part of any of these stories.
I don't know. I loved it. I actually laughed out loud with the little girl.
Oh, she was funny. She was sassy.
She goes, Because they said what I was thinking, that it was his wife.
Right.
And she goes, that's stupid.
She was like, it was most definitely not his wife. Wife? What are you talking about? Like, Becky, when I tell you I was crushed when I got to that part.
I was trying to figure out, why would he go to jail? What was he worried about?
Yes. That was so bad.
Why would he worry about going to jail if his wife, like, I mean, you could have done it tastefully. It didn't have to be remains. It could have been her ashes in an urn.
Could have just been a sealed casket.
Yeah. Like, why would...
That's totally okay. It's his property.
When they said his wife, and they were all ready to go arrest him for having his wife at the end of this thing, I'm like,
but like,
why?
Everybody knew she passed away. It wasn't a secret. He did everything.
Murder her.
And he made a point to mention that he did everything right earlier on.
Right.
When she passed away, he was like, I did everything I was supposed to do, funeral, whatever. And so
Why
it
would
wouldn't
you
have been illegal for
Why
her
would
to
you
be
worried?
there.
And then when she finally says what it was,
Yeah.
why would you be arrested for that too? So weird.
It's just a wooden key.
And
But
how he found it the way he found it was weird too.
yeah, I liked that. That referenced the first story with Charles and Robert.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Because in the first story, they did just put the key back.
Yeah.
And somehow, I mean, they were like, oh, how does this key randomly get us into this adult movie theater? I don't know. Let me put it back in the bushes. Whatever. Not my problem.
Right.
And so, and he like was vomiting after.
No, he was peeing.
He was peeing after he
got
just went
drunk.
out with his friends. He was drunk.
Yeah, he got
after
drunk.
shortly
Yeah.
after the funeral of his wife. And so he was peeing in the alley, and he's like, "What's this? Oh, I bet this is the key to the city. I'm gonna keep it." Now he should have returned it in, but it's just a wooden key.
Right.
Like they could just remake it.
Right.
Like it's not. But I thought that was so cool. Finally, near the end, you're like, oh yeah, nobody knew what happened to the city.
Right.
The city hall key. But we were going, and I was like, so it's the crate creature. The crate creature has to be in the middle of the maze. In my mind, that's what it has to be. And then we were going, and then it started talking about his wife and how she passed away. It was so sad.
God, it was sad.
And then, at the same time, it's flashing forward with Margot, who's like on her way to the police station, at the police station, is like so ready to tell them. And you're like, oh, she died. But he didn't actually talk about details with her funeral.
Mm-hmm.
It's his wife. His wife is in the middle of the maze. But then with how concerned he was, I went and thought, so he did it in a really weird psychopath way, and it's just her body laying there.
That's what I was thinking too.
Like propped up against a stump. I don't know, like just completely
deteriorated
and nasty and scary. That's what's in the middle of the maze. That's maybe why the police are so concerned. And then
that's funny that we thought the same thing.
And that's what I put down this sticky note. I was like, all right, it's guess time again. And I'll probably be wrong because I was wrong on every story. Molly is at the end of the maze. How or why, I don't know. He says she's dead, but how did she die? But then he talks about how she just died in her sleep.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's depressing. But then I was just like, okay, this has to be it. I was so confident. I was like, it has to be Molly at the end of this maze. Because at one point, he like basically spells it out for you. And in this one, I was like, it's her tomb in her honor. Because the maze was in her honor. It's her tomb. Is in the middle of the logic, right? He spells it out for you. I was like, Malerman just laid out my theory right here in words. Where is it? Molly wasn't a bump, a hurdle, a hill. There was nothing to get over. Molly was the end for Wayne. The end of phase 1. He talked about the maze being phase 1.
Right.
The finish line. So he obviously did that to screw with me.
Right.
He spells it out for you. It's like,
right.
oh, duh, Molly's got to be in the center of the maze. And then Margot's like telling these creepy police officers, which I'm really glad that they were talked about more finally, because throughout all of these stories, the Goblin police are like described as weird, pale, and rubbery and creepy creatures. Nobody wants to get involved with them. Nobody wants to get caught doing anything. If they just look at you, you feel like you're doing something wrong, like they're going to take you. And I was like, this is weird. And then I was like, okay, my theory about the Goblin police officers.
Right.
Everyone's buried not upside down. Everyone's buried standing up in Goblin. So maybe they're zombies. And that's, I don't know. That's just, it's a far reach, but that's where I was going. I was like, they're zombies. They have to be. Logically, duh. So they're talked about so much in this story, and I was so glad. And they're creepy, and I really, really like how when she's sitting there telling her story to all of the Goblin police officers in the precinct, she's like, there was only a few there to begin with, and all of a sudden they start coming out of the shadows, quote unquote.
Yeah, I thought he was a
filing cabinet. I was like, she was like, I could have sworn he came all out of nowhere. Like, I thought it was just the wallpaper I saw over there. I'm like, these guys are creepy. They're just coming out. They're They are just the object in the police precinct.
Right.
I thought it was really done well how creepy they were, though. They were just coming out of nowhere, basically coming out of the walls.
Right.
I really liked the filing cabinet one, too. But they're all sitting there. They're leaning in towards her. They talk slow and creepy, too, another thing. And she's, like, getting to the end. And she's about to say what was at the finish line. And they're like, the dead wife.
Right.
And I'm like, has to be. And then Margot's like, no, that's so stupid. Why would you say that? And I put a sticky note and I was like, well, gee, I guess I'm as dumb as the Goblin Police. She was like, it's the key to the city, you morons. And immediately they get up and like they go look for Wayne Sherman. But I was like, are you kidding me? I was so right. But apparently I was so wrong.
Right.
But I really, really liked that one. I really liked my next guess about the Goblin Police. It never shows and says what they really are.
Yeah.
But I was like, they gotta be aliens.
Yeah, something's wrong with them.
They gotta be aliens.
Like they're made of clay or something.
Yeah, they like it's like what they're wearing is like a mask.
Yeah.
Not a mask, but like they're not really what they are portraying themselves as.
Yeah.
And when they're in the forest later on in that story, it really shows more and more and more how like they're more monstrous than humans.
Right.
And I was like, big, gigantic black eyes. They gotta be aliens.
I really like how that was written too.
Yeah.
Like she's up in the tree hiding.
And she's next to the owl.
And the owl helps her.
Yes. I loved that part.
Another reason why I like the owls, and they don't really scare me. Like I think they're supposed to be frightening, but they're not to me.
I think they're almost like supposed to be portrayed as like this all-knowing entity almost in this town. Like this owl, the owls know what this town has done. The owls know everything basically. The owls know what lurks in the forest. The owls know who to help and who not to help.
Yeah.
Except they should have not killed Harvey. But
owls are always portrayed as wise.
Yeah.
And so I like them. I like their characters, even though there's not as much written about them as some of the others. But I like them. I like that they saved the girl.
Yes. I like that they just sort of chill with her. And she's like, all right, thanks. And climbs down and runs out. She was very smart, though. The way she figured out the maze and everything, I was like, oh, wow. I would have never done that.
And she was so mad that the Goblin Police were just like, not even caring.
Yeah.
She's like, this is my moment. This is
impressive.
This is cool.
I think it's
smart.
impressive. Yeah. Yeah. I gave that one 5 stars for sure. So before we talk the rest about Tom, when I averaged it out with just the actual novellas, I didn't include the prologue and the epilogue. It averaged out to 4.33 stars for Goblin. That is my Goblin rating, 4.33 stars. So, yeah. You want to talk about Tom? I know how much you love Tom.
Yes. The last one was also one of my favorites. I will say
I really liked that.
The Hedges was my favorite.
Yeah.
But the story of Tom, like it had me reeled in from the prologue.
From the get-go.
And so the whole way through, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with Tom? Let's get back to Tom. And
poor guy's just delivering a crate.
I know.
He doesn't even live here.
And so Neil Nash's partner, Mr. Crawford, is the one who's receiving the package. And he gets to his house and he's not answering the door.
But it's still within the time frame, too. I was like, why isn't this man coming to the door?
And it said if he's not there for some reason to destroy the contents.
Right.
But
I wouldn't have wanted to go near that thing either.
Tom was like, I'm not opening that door back up. Yeah. I'm not destroying it. He's like, this guy's got to be home.
He was about to leave that truck in his driveway, too.
As he should have.
Yeah, I would have.
Should have just run down
I would have been like, peace, I'm out.
I'll
me
find
a taxi.
an Uber.
Yeah. I'm not hanging around here.
So he's like looking through the windows and everything, and he opens the front door. Why is this guy sitting at home in his den with a gun with the door unlocked? Because Tom just opens the door right on up. Yeah. It's not like he broke in.
I know. And he had mentioned, he was like, oh my God, I'm breaking and entering. I'm like, you're not breaking and entering. You're just trespassing.
Right. You're trespassing.
You didn't break nothing. You just entered. So for the record.
And then he's got this gun pointed at him and he's like, man, whoa.
Whoa, bro. Your package is outside. You want to come get it?
I'm going to need you to collect this thing. I don't want it. And this was probably the creepiest one.
Yeah.
For me. Because the monster that was not living, apparently, comes inside. It reminds me of, we talked about Lost before. Yeah. Like the monsters on Lost. Because you couldn't shoot them. You couldn't. They were all powerful. So this monster comes in and kills Mr. Crawford right
Right.
off, drags poor Tom out of the house. He's
I
like,
know.
"You're come with me, bud."
And I was like, oh, okay, he didn't kill Tom yet. Okay, good. Poor Tom doesn't live in Goblin. He was just doing his job.
Yeah, he keeps saying that. I'm not a gobliner. I'm not a gobliner.
I was like,
My very first thought at the beginning of the prologue, when he talks about kissing a girl, I really thought that the girl he kissed was somehow gonna be a part of the story. She's never really mentioned again, except that
I read her name again during one of the stories, and I can't remember which one it was.
I don't remember either,
Because
but
it didn't click in my head until again in the epilogue, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh crap!" They did mention her again, and I think she was an actual person in the town still.
right.
And I just don't remember who or where. Drove me nuts.
But he never intersects with her again.
Right.
Like, I really thought
Yeah.
that somehow she was going to play a part
Mhm.
in this storyline, and she didn't.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of a little disappointed at that, but I feel like it's so creepy.
It was creepy.
And they leave it where you know what's going to happen, but you don't read what happens.
Yeah.
And I
All
honestly,
these people in this town about to die.
I feel kind of bad for all these people.
I feel bad for poor Pete now
Yeah.
because he was spared at the magic show, and now he's probably going to get killed by this ghost zombie thing.
Yeah, because they're heading to the party, so you know everyone at the party is going to get it.
Yeah.
But Tom does think, what happens after the party? What happens later? What's this thing going to do?
Mhm.
How far is it going to go?
At least he's not killing you, Tom.
Yeah, hopefully.
You
Hopefully
delivered the
doesn't-
package too, technically, so I hope.
Well, they can't get their money because Mr. Crawford's gone. He's dead.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks for Tom. When I was reading the last one though, or it was either I was reading the Hedges one still, or when I was in the epilogue when I realized that everything has partaken in the same night,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, that's fun. All
Yeah.
of this mayhem just happened the same night.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, why did it all happen on the same night? Was it because of, and that's what he mentions in the epilogue. He was like, was it because of this thing I brought? Was it the crate? Was it this creature that caused all of these horrible things to happen? And then it makes you wonder, well, is it just because they found the city key
and they never put
and
it
they
back.
could never get it back? And that's what caused all these horrible things to happen on the same night?
Right.
I mean, it's like a massacre in that place. Like the magic show.
Mm-hmm.
Charles kills Robert. Neil Nash's friend Harvey gets eaten alive by the owls. Wayne himself almost gets his heart blown apart
Yeah.
by the witch in the
I forgot
woods.
to talk about that. He
I like that
escaped the
part.
witch. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all these things happen in this one night. And then the police force, they're just aliens. It's just a lot going on.
Are they going to survive this mass murder that's
They're
about
just
to
gonna-
happen?
I think they're probably fine. They were portrayed as so weird and creepy. I think
Yeah.
they're probably fine.
They're lost in the North Woods anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna be one with the witch. I really liked that it clicked in my head that it was all on the same night though. I thought that was really cool.
Every time it started raining hard, I was like, okay, I knew that it was happening at the same time something else was happening when the rain
Mhm.
got hard.
Yeah.
So I caught on to that in the Charles. Well, I somehow knew they were all going to fit together
Yeah.
anyway, but not quite how I thought. I thought in the prologue when the two guys drive by and they're like trying to tell Tom, I thought that was going to be Charles and Robert, but they never talk about it in their
Yeah.
story. So I'm still like, was that Charles and Robert? Or no, two other guys, because they never talk about that particular thing in any other story.
Hmm.
But the hard rain is talked about everywhere.
I wonder. That makes me wonder. I wonder who they were. It almost makes you want to read it again.
Yeah.
I probably
Almost.
won't, but it was really good. I liked Goblin. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom, for sending in your recording.
Yes.
I
thank
liked
you.
your recording too. I'm glad we could get that on here, get you a part of our book club episode.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for being our number one fan. And I know some other people wanted to read it, but I think they never had time to read it,
Mm-hmm.
which is fair. So that's all I have. I know we're peaking,
Yeah, we're peeking.
and we're peaking with our time.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that if you read the book, you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, now there's no need to.
Yeah, or enjoy it.
And we talked about enough other stuff, so there'll still be like show notes for you to check out. And of course, Brooke will probably post something on Instagram later. I am going to try to do better about posting on Facebook. I feel like I don't have time to social media with all this reading and stuff. And
It's
then
hard.
I feel bad to say that because you have to sit over here and edit stuff all the time,
Whew.
and you still Instagram. So, but please check out the notes. And, I don't know, enjoy your week. I don't know where to go from there. We didn't really do a whole lot of talking about anything but the books. There's not really a lot
Let
to
us
say.
know what other spooky reads you're going to be getting into.
Yeah. And what movies you might be watching too. The girls and I are going to watch Spookly the Square Pumpkin. We're almost too old to have this tradition anymore, but Spookly the Square Pumpkin is something that Ella got into several years ago, and actually maybe Emma did. And so we've watched it every year since then.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's someone going to watch Charlie Brown. Why not?
As you should.
As you should. So, let us know what other stuff you're doing. We've got one more episode for the month of October, and it's going to be a good one, I think. So please join us next week. So we like to end our show with this quote, because you are kindred spirits out there, and we appreciate you listening to us. Kindred spirits are not so scarce as I used to think. It's splendid to think that there are so many of them. You are kindred spirits. We appreciate you. We thank you. And stay happily booked. Have a great week.